Welcome back, Renegades. Today I'm continuing with the Sick Boy album, and we're on to Suicide, which is about, I'm assuming is about Joe, was it? Was there another friend he had who took his life as well? So what am I expecting from this, man? Don't know what to expect, do you know? But something probably deep in the fields, you know. But it's Ren, isn't it? So I'm sure he's going to create something beautiful out of it.
Through the cracks of the night sky, a light goes out on the other side. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Oh, treading on the tracks in the night time. It never really felt like the right time. Suicide, suicide, suicide. I'm so fucking lonely beneath this. Narcissistic, can't keep a secret. Miscount sheep, I can't sleep, I'm misfit. Some say trouble, but some say sadistic. Bruises my brother, one time or the other. My skin felt counterfeit, silicone rubber. Bruises my sister, skin pop the blister. Dig deep, resist the feeling when it hits you.
It never ceases to amaze me, man. The range of sort of styles that he incorporates into his music, you know, and I mean, yeah, heavy subject matter, great. I mean, the video is just beautiful, gorgeous, isn't it? You know, some of the sounds, those that are going on, the vocals are beautiful, you know, that, I can't remember where it went now, but you know what I mean? And then just the simplicity of a kick drum in there as well, you know, just driving the beat, you know, because I imagine this would have been probably something you might just write on a guitar, you know, or in your head or something, but then he's brought it to life with other things, you know.
Through the cracks of the night sky, a light goes out on the other side. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Treading on the tracks in the night time. It never really felt like the right time. Suicide, suicide, suicide. I'm so fucking lonely beneath this. Narcissistic, can't keep a secret. Miscount sheep, I can't sleep, I'm misfit. Some say trouble, but some say sadistic. Bruises my brother, one time or the other. My skin felt counterfeit, silicone rubber. Bruises my sister, skin pop the blister. Dig deep, resist the feeling when it hits you. Falling through the cracks of the night sky, a light goes out on the other side. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Treading on the tracks in the night time. It never really felt like the right time. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Sick boy, bitten by a tech boy.
I like that callback.
Like it's not me, it's the world that's sick. I'm so fucking washed up and seasick. Masochistic kid with a split lip. 6 feet deep, I can't eat, I'm nervous. Won't stay down cause my body purges. Useless my mother, can't keep in my supper. Skin so pale cause my cheeks leak colour. Truth is my father, you choose your karma. Draw for the sword, then drive through the armour. Falling through the cracks of the night sky, a light goes out on the other side. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Treading.
I mean, this video is fantastic, isn't it? Who's done this? The same. I can't remember who did the ones before, but this is just awesome. It's really cool stuff, man. Really cool stuff. Great that he's got the money to invest in things, I suppose. I guess he would have had the money around this point. It's irrelevant, really. I've noticed that this song isn't... There's a song called For Joe, isn't there, which I haven't got to yet, which I think is specifically about Joe. But this seems to be less so about a specific suicide. Although, you know, it probably encapsulates that and is inspired by that. But he seems to be talking about, I guess, more generally about the actual thing, but also metaphorical suicides. Because we all die a little every day. I can't remember who said it, but I remember somebody talking about drinking alcohol, and it's a way, it's kind of a way to kill yourself and start over the next day. I guess there may be some truth in that. If you drink heavily enough, depends on your perspective, I guess. This image is interesting, isn't it, of the homeless guy, So it's like, is it... It's the as above, so below thing, isn't it? The micros and the macros, which are like... I love Ren's lyrics to this because they make me contemplate things, in the same way that, listening to a Jordan Peterson or a Sadhguru or whoever it is, may just stimulate my thought process, which is great. And to put a positive spin, I guess, on the idea of suicide is that, not the actual act, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I guess to maybe reclaim the word if it needs reclaiming, I don't know. What I'm trying to say is that we need to, in order to grow and to thrive in your life, you need to dispense with the aspects of yourself that are holding you back, those ridiculous or juvenile things, whatever they may be, so in a way that's a kind of suicide, isn't it? Which I suppose it's... I hope you understand what I'm getting at. I'm not trying to minimise the tragic events, of people that actually feel that that's their only way out. The actual suicide, but yeah, you've got to cut bits of yourself off daily, perhaps, probably, in order to move forward.
Light goes out on the other side. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Oh, I, oh, I, oh, I. Treading on the tracks in the night time. It never really felt like the right time. Suicide, suicide, suicide. 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 It's hard to take off from the ground when your wings are cut. Your stomach burns when you're drinking from an empty cup. You know the entire ocean came from my tear ducts. I see the world through Fibonacci sequences and double Dutch. I guess there's some that's...
Man, this is great. Do you know, I was just thinking, man, that I was hoping it was going to go somewhere different, somewhere bigger, I guess I was expecting. But this is beautiful, isn't it? It's the opposite. It drops down, man. And those kind of high piercing piano notes are so emotive. And I always love them in, I Want to Be Your Dog by the Stooges, just the relentless ding, 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 ding. And it's the same sort of range of frequencies on the piano, man. And they elicit like was it like a feeling of terror or something? It's like something crawling on your skin, isn't it? And then just, yeah. I mean, what was that line about? Whole oceans came from a tear duct. It's great, man. Because I mean, I'm sure, probably for a lot of you as well, but a lot of the time with Ren's lyrics, I recognise, the things that he's talking about, or perhaps things he would have read maybe in different places than I've read them. But I like the wordplay, the double meaning, or the just the little twist, but of removing a word here and there, to give it new meaning, or sometimes the same meaning or dual meaning. It's just really, really cool, isn't it? It's just really cool.
Suicide, suicide, suicide. It's hard to take off from the ground when your wings are cut. Your stomach burns when you're drinking from an empty cup. You know the entire ocean came from my tear ducts. I see the world through Fibonacci sequences and double Dutch. I guess there's some that's born lucky, there's some that's not. I tried to cut away my bitterness, hatchet job. I locked my youth inside a trunk, inside a pickup truck, then dumped the whole thing over that same bridge the night you jumped. I think about that sometimes, vividly, what it felt like to look down.
Okay, man, this is the specific stuff then, now, isn't it?
It's hard to take off from the ground when your wings are cut. Your stomach burns when you're drinking from an empty cup. You know the entire ocean came from my tear ducts. I see the world through Fibonacci sequences and double Dutch. I guess there's some that's born lucky, there's some that's not. I tried to cut away my bitterness, hatchet job. I locked my youth inside a trunk, inside a pickup truck, then dumped the whole thing over that same bridge the night you jumped. I think about that sometimes, vividly, what it felt like to look down and see tranquility. One sudden movement in a world of possibility, only one movement to expose our fragility. I fucking miss you, and I miss my...
Is this like, did he metaphor, is that a metaphor he's using, putting his youth in the trunk, or did he actually chuck a load of fucking stuff over the bridge?
Double Dutch. I guess there's some that's born lucky, there's some that's not. I tried to cut away my bitterness, hatchet job. I locked my youth inside a trunk, inside a pickup truck, then dumped the whole thing over that same bridge the night you jumped.
Trying to cut away his bitterness as well, man. That's it's bitterness. No matter what's going on in your life, no matter how tragic, I suppose bitterness, it will eat you alive, won't it, man? It's not conducive or helpful to moving forward. And I understand, why you would feel that, that anger and that bitterness. And there's probably times in my life, when I've certainly felt the anger. And probably the bitterness at times, actually. I'd have to dig deep for it, I've either done a good job of exercising it or burying it, one of the two. But, Ren's a wise dude, isn't he, man, so... Yeah, what he's saying is important, as a not just as a lyric for him to express what he's going through, but I think as a message for the people that are listening, So I don't know whether you can cut off the bitterness or let it go or whatever you do, but yeah, be careful, isn't it? Because bitterness will eat you alive.
I think about that sometimes, vividly, what it felt like to look down and see tranquility. One sudden movement in a world of possibility, only one movement to expose our fragility. I fucking miss you, and I miss myself. I miss thinking we were indestructible as well. I miss chilling by the pier cave and kicking back with Callum, Hugo, Sager, Justin, Stevie and the fucking lads. I miss missing that. I numb myself to close the gap. I never even call them up. The distance is my plaster cast. The truth is...
Man, I can't relate to anything quite as tragic as this, although, when he says about missing himself, there has been, a number of years, where I did miss myself, I was looking in the mirror and just not recognising who was looking back, and missing that that engagement, that community, with very close friends that, for many different reasons, it became impossible to continue that, socially, musically, spiritually, you know, communally. And I think it's important to bear in mind that bad stuff is going to happen, isn't it? You know, like tragedy on some level is going to happen in everyone's lives at some point, you know, and maybe some people get off or seem to get off a bit more lightly than others, and others just get it chucked at them, you know, consistently again and again and again. And I mean, how do you even make sense of any of that? I guess you've just got to whatever you got to do, man, you know. Got me doling out advice. What would I? Well, you've just got to understand, I suppose, that life is suffering to some degree, but it's also can be wonderful, and if you can manage to treat the bad things that happen appropriately and try and remain still and all that, you know, if you can get through that, then there is strength, I think, to be gained from going through these extremely difficult things, you know. Life is tough, isn't it? But it is also wonderful.
To the day you jumped, my childhood jumped too, but I still can't find the anger. All I find is missing you, man, I miss you. With all my rhymes, I picture running 5 minutes quicker, I'm right on time. I picture pulling you back over the edge and then we're crying, and holding you, my brother, and telling you that it's fine. Not the way that it worked, cause I was late like a jerk. There's not a day where I could find a way to break from the hurt. Your body missing, so we never got to wave to the hearse. I hope you're listening, I love you, man, I miss you absurd, fuck.
Powerful stuff, man, isn't it? Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. And I mean, I can't even imagine what that would be like, I suppose, you know, for those 5 minutes or whatever it was, and how that's going to play on you and stuff. It's how you could imagine it could be different and stuff. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's just, I feel like there are things that I could say, but, you know, I'm not sure it is really necessary or right, really, to postulate, you know, or comment on this any further. You know, I just want to treat it with the respect it deserves, you know. Aware that I've never experienced that kind of tragedy, you know. So with that, guys, thanks for joining me. Look after yourselves, you know, take care of yourselves. And I hope your life is awesome. And if it's not, I hope it gets better, because it can get better, you know. Just believe it's going to get better. Because either way, it's better than believing the alternative, isn't it? Just, yeah. Always have hope, isn't it? Lots of love. See you soon.